Gentlemen, thanks for coming today. Today I've got with me Eli Danner and Robert Ballantyne. Or did they say Ballantine?
No, Ballantyne.
Ballantine. What was that movie? Young Frankenstein? Frankenstein.
Yes.
No. Robert Ballantyne, Eli Danner. They're actually the leaders of Team Resident Realty. Before we kind of get into what they're doing, tell us, we'll start with you, Eli, so you can come up with some cool stories about what you used to do for a living. Don't tell the story about the professional wrestling, though. What did you do? What's your background?
My background is kind of an entrepreneur. I was owned a couple different businesses, worked as an engineer in a whole nother industry, got into real estate mainly to develop a better home life so I could have more time with my family. So that's where I started.
Why real estate? What was the draw?
You know, I was kind of at a loss. I didn't really know what to do. I knew I wanted to get off the road. I wanted to be home more. My wife had gotten her real estate license recently, and she texted me one day and she goes, "You ought to look into this." Well, about 5 years prior, I had read through all the material with my intent to get a license so that I could send my friends and family to a friend of mine that was an agent and collect a commission split. And so when she said that, I thought, you know what, I'm probably pretty close already. So I ordered the course. I did an online course. I had a dog that had just gotten really sick, and so I couldn't leave the house. I spent about 10 hours a day just studying, and I banged it out in about 5 days. Scheduled my fingerprints, scheduled my license for the next day or next week, and I was done.
And then you went, what do I do?
That was pretty much it. I went
Right.
to, I don't know where to go from here. Didn't have a brokerage in mind. Started out with a small firm that was just a gentleman that had 2 years of licensing in. And they, according to the Colorado law at the time, you could go ahead and be a managing broker. I did 3 deals with him, found out I knew more about real estate than he did. We ran into a lot of problems that he couldn't answer. And then I was hosting an open house one day, and I had one of the Resident Realty agents come through, and they dropped a card off, and I'm looking at this card going, I wonder what this company is all about.
Who was it? Do you remember? It's not, I'm putting you on the spot.
No, I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. He's still with the company too.
Doesn't matter. I was just wondering who it might have been, but.
Yep. So he left a card. As I was thinking about it that night, about 9 o'clock at night, I logged on the internet and I pulled up Resident Realty's website, and there was a phone number there. And so I dialed that phone number, and like I said, 9 o'clock at night, and I get an answer from Craig Plants. And I went, man, that's pretty impressive.
So for the people that don't know who Craig Plants is, that's the CEO and the originator, basically. He was the guy that started Resident Realty 20 years ago, actually.
Right, the founder. He's still just down-to-earth guy and works this every day. And so when he picked up the phone and said, "This is Craig Plants, can I help you?" Oh my goodness, that's awesome, because my managing broker, if it wasn't between the hours of 11 and 2, he was probably pretty well disconnected.
Right.
And so that was helpful.
No bueno for a brand new agent.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. So it was just a matter of a couple days later, and we made the decision to switch, and my wife and I both switched over to Resident Realty, and we've been with Resident Realty ever since.
It's been a while, 5-6 years now?
Yep.
As of the date that we're shooting this. Robert, what about you?
Well, I came from IT background, so I managed.
Now, I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, because he walks in the office and says, I'm angry because, like my computer won't work. And he goes, well, the first thing you have to do is turn it on, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so your IT was younger years, mid? I mean, what decided? How long did you do that for, and why did you move out?
Yeah, and I did 25 years of IT work, so it was quite a bit. I managed quite a few systems. Very stressful job. You get calls at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and it lasts, all the way through the next day or 2 days, right?
Right.
So having gone through that for some time, there's always a lot of turnover in IT. And after doing that a while, I just decided when I started looking for new jobs, I wasn't feeling the call anymore to do the IT.
And the professional wrestling thing was out?
Yes, it was out. I mean, after I lost a couple matches, and then I wasn't feeling that either, especially on the backside.
So same deal with it. I mean, why real estate? Just easy to get into, or was there a passion? Did you ever?
There actually was a passion. Since I was maybe, I don't know, 20 years old or 18 years old, I had always wanted to get into real estate. I had seen, different houses go up. I always enjoyed going through the houses. I just thought that would be a really fun profession. And then I had friends that also were into it. And I thought, well, this will be something that I could really do. I could really enjoy. And the other thing was the freedom of it. So, having the freedom to be able to work when I needed to, work extra hours, and then get kind of credit for that, for all that hard work as well.
So you were. Well, let's talk about the team, because that's really what I wanted you to come in here for. Is you guys are the leaders, the mentors, if you will, of Team Resident Realty, and you were several years ago, I think probably Eli's first mentee, if you will, correct?
Yes.
He was on the first team.
So you came out of real estate college, got your real estate license, and you went to another company for literally like a minute, right?
Right, not very long.
Yeah, very, very short time period. Decided that wasn't for you. And Eli, you had come up with this idea that we kind of started, exploring as far as the whole mentor thing. Robert was your first mentee, if that's the language that we want to use. Why did you want to do that? What drove you to want to do that?
Well, the idea came around when, I'd spent my first year at Resident Realty, and I think I closed like 10 deals that year. Mm-hmm. And you and Craig both approached me. You said, what did you do? What did you do different? And I go, man, it's just common advertising. Like I said, I'd done several businesses before, built them up, sold them. And so I was pretty good at advertising. I always felt like I've done pretty well. And when you guys approached that idea, I thought, yeah, that would be fun. I always enjoyed teaching. I didn't realize it'd be as much work as it is, but it's been
Be
very
careful what
rewarding.
you wish for, right?
Right, exactly. But no, we came up with the idea of, okay, let's try to take agents that look like they have a good potential, and let's see if we can give them the extra support to get them over that edge. And that's kind of where it started, and then it started to evolve into more and more support, more and more meetings, more and more classes, and over the last several years, it's just evolved into something that we think we can take the majority of agents, the majority of the students, even if they don't come out with the ideal personality and the ideal situation, we've been able to help them to develop the right tools that they need to be able to have success in this business. Ultimately, at this point in time, we feel like we've got agents down to the point where it comes down to their attitude. If they have the right attitude, we can work with it. We can help them develop the tools that they need to do.
So statistics basically show that people who get their real estate license after or within the first 2 years, about half fall out.
Right.
But I think the half fall out because they didn't have any success. They didn't know what to do. They got their real estate license because they thought it was going to be easy because they had another agent that didn't seem to do anything for them and made a whole bunch of money.
Right.
And they didn't necessarily think that they didn't see the back end of it. They didn't see what, the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, midnight phone calls that we're dealing with, chasing around deadlines and whatnot. They just said, oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money. And then they don't make any money and the expense of the business gets to them and they're out.
Right.
And I think that's part of the reason why we felt that it was really important to have a strong mentor program, not just a class like some other companies have these classes. And, it's a canned class, it's all the same thing. But the problem is that each individual doesn't thrive in that type of environment, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean, I guess the way I would look at it is like, we all go out and, whack a golf ball every once in a while, right? You don't learn to golf by reading a book or sitting in a classroom. Right?
Right.
You go out to the driving range and you grab some golf clubs and you start swinging. And if you're smart, you really want to improve your game, what are you going to do?
You're going to practice.
All the time.
And then you're going to probably get some
direction.
Lessons, right? You're going to hire on a mentor, someone who's going to teach you what you're doing incorrectly and help correct those things, right? That's what you guys are. You guys are basically the trainers, much like a golf pro, right?
Right. And like you said, with the golf swing, not everybody's swing is the same. And so we get the agents that come in, not everybody's personality is the same. Not everybody's personality molds well with maybe doing an open house or some sort of advertising. We've had agents that really, really excel at open houses. We have agents that they need to stick more towards internet-based marketing, maybe Facebook, Instagram.
Some are better at social media.
Absolutely. So we try to figure out what their strengths are and play off those strengths. I remember we had one agent that her strength was she loved to do garage sales. And so we had built a card for her, it just basically an introduction card as to who she was. And what she found was that the majority of the garage sales that she went to, most people were selling things because they were looking to downsize. They were looking to move to another place. They didn't want to move the crap that they didn't really want. And so when she would introduce herself, she started picking up listings. And she still uses that to this day. I think it's been 4 years now that we worked with her. And she still uses that method to this day. And she says the majority of her listings come through her garage sale cards.
It's a scam. Right?
It kind of
No,
is.
I actually no. There's I went to a sales training thing, and this guy gets up there on the whiteboard and writes "scam." He said this whole business is a scam, and we're all looking, going, "What did we just sit down for?" Right? Sales, creativity, and marketing is the acronym, right?
Yep.
And that's what this business is. I mean, we're all going to do something slightly different. I mean, the industry, we're all doing the same thing when it comes to marketing, advertising, and all that. But how are we getting in front of those clients that we want to work with is a totally different animal, right?
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
So, Robert, your piece of it, I mean, you're both doing the exact same thing, right? Robert's piece, so Robert joined, or you guys you founded Team Resident Realty, and you've kind of been running along with it.
Yes.
It's really similar to what my beginnings were with Resident Realty. My beginnings with Resident Realty, I came on just as an agent. I said, nope, don't want to be a managing broker. I just want to be an agent and concentrate on my business. I very quickly after I joined Resident Realty, took Craig up on his offer of becoming one of his managing brokers. Because of some other things that happened with one of the previous companies I was with, I said, yeah, I'll be your managing broker now. And it evolved, and now I'm his partner. So it's myself and Craig that own the company. And you've kind of been, it's the same thing. You started as a mentee on his team, which wasn't really a team yet, and kind of took the bull by the horns, if you will, and grew along with it. So now you guys have developed a training program that's evolving all the time, right?
Yes.
So before I actually ask, what it looks like as an agent, what your training, you've got like video training, right? You've got personal training, the things that you do with the agents that are joining your team. And I've seen a lot of success from the team, by the way. We used to make it a voluntary thing with our company where if you want to join the team, you could join the team. Now, every brand new agent that joins our company, it's not an option. You're joining the team. And we decided to do that collectively, I think, because we noticed that there was a huge difference between the agents that just were trying to figure it out on their own using our systems and the agents that were actually engaged and involved with the team. I mean, the learning curve was like that. So, we don't need to bring up all the different examples and drop names and stuff like that. But because of that, we just felt it was in the agent's best interest now to say, okay, at least for one deal, you're joining this team. So before we get into the different types of, training, what does it look like, Robert? So I just got done with real estate. I just graduated. I just got my real estate license. And I met with Tony from Resident Realty. I went, wow, not only is he smart, he's handsome, and by God, I want to be just like that when I grow up, right? No. I decided to join with Resident Realty, and my next step is, okay, I'm going to be contacted by the team, or I need to call you guys, or what does it look like for me, and what are you going to do to get me started in this business?
Yeah, good question. So when you
I only ask good questions.
there you go.
I don't ask the dumb ones.
When you just get started, we will reach out to you. Either Eli or myself will reach out to you, and what we set up is an introductory meeting. So during that introductory meeting, we're going to sit down and verify the license information, make sure that you have all of your documentation, and then we figure out where you're at and where you need to be. Right. So what are your goals? Where do you plan your MLS? What kind of marketing do you plan to use? So
And they look at you like deer in headlights, right? Like, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it's overwhelming. I tell my real estate classes that I teach, it's getting involved in this business is like taking trying to take a sip of water from a fire hydrant.
Right.
It's just
all at once.
so much stuff. Like MLS, what even is that? Business plan, huh? What? What's the first thing that I do? So you're going to walk them through those steps.
We focus. right? So we focus on what is it that you have already, where do we need to be, and then we walk through each one of those processes. So signing up for the MLS, deciding on the MLS, right? Then signing up for the MLS, deciding on what kind of contract software you're going to use, how you're going to keep track of your customers, right? Your database. So we go through each piece and walk you through so that you're both ready when you meet that buyer or lister, or you're in the process of.
Right. So how many is it? Is it like sit down classes? I mean, what does it look like for me as the agent that just signed on? You're going to call me and walk me through this stuff. Is it just on the phone, or what do you do?
Well, we go ahead. Okay, we do a little bit of both. We always want to make sure the agents know that we're available on our phones. Typically text, because we spend a lot of time on our phones.
Right.
But we ask them to text us if you've got an issue. We'll call you if that's something that we can't answer over text. But we do have meetings that we have weekly. So we have agents that have joined the team, and maybe they're not to the point where they can leave their steady job yet. And so we have a Monday night meeting. We try to host that about 6:30, and we just run it over the web. That's been really popular lately, and we just started that this year.
Like Skype or
Yeah. Basically, we have just a GoToMeeting account, and
GoToMeeting. That's the company.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to send them the bill.
Yeah,
I think they should be sponsors of the show.
I
here.
think they
Exactly.
should too.
Can you guys get on that? Get those waivers done and stuff.
Get
too?
some
Get some
money
marketing
out of the
dollars
deal.
in there. Yeah.
So yeah, we use the meetings, and then we also have an in-person meeting. We try to do that on Tuesdays, and that's definitely helpful. We would definitely encourage the in-person over the web meeting, because we do see more growth out of the agents that are visiting. But the web meeting has been a huge asset to the agents that can't make that.
Okay.
They're either, like I said, working, they've got another job, or if they're too far away. We really wanted to open this whole program up to not just the agents that are in the northern Colorado area, from Firestone to downtown Denver. We wanted to open it up to the agents that are in Castle Rock, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, Windsor, and make sure that if they have the same opportunities that we have right here.
Right. Well, especially with the snow that we've been having.
Exactly.
My God.
Yeah. So
You can sit there in your footy pajamas, right, in your living room, and still get the same content.
yeah, so I
Absolutely.
can wear a nice shirt and sweats. I might be wearing a nice shirt and
He's not
sweats right
wearing
now.
sweats. He's not wearing sweats. Thank God. I'm just glad you're wearing pants right now, dude.
It's one of those days.
Yeah, you had to get out of the house, and it's frowned upon.
Don't expect it very often.
Well, yeah. Little does anybody know we're actually in Eli's basement right now.
Yeah.
This is like what is that? Bill and Ted's
Excellent Adventure.
Party on. Wayne's World. That's it. Wayne's World. So where were we? Because I do that to myself. I get lost.
Some of the things that we offer, we do have the individual working with people individually, either by on phone, via phone,
Right.
Or with meetings, right? So if there's something that needs to be accomplished right away, you've met a buyer, you're going to do an open house, you need to write a contract. Sometimes you can't wait for that weekly meeting. So we will sit down with that person and actually walk them through the entire process.
Right, and I've seen that. It's not that you don't have anything better to do on Saturdays, but I've seen you in the office on Saturday. I don't know why I'm there on Saturday, but we work all the time, right?
You don't have anything better to do.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Probably because I forgot to pay the bills on Friday, and I said,
Right.
"Oh crap, I got to get back to the office." Tell me about. So you've got not only the interaction on Skype or whatever, whoever we're plugging for this show, GoToMeeting, and your in-person classes and your one-on-one mentorship, video training, and you have a bunch of them, right?
Yes, at least 50?
There's
50,
over
40?
30 hours.
Okay.
There's over
Yeah.
30 hours that we added up.
30 hours of training that they can actually access
Right,
whenever,
exactly.
whenever they want
Immediately.
to.
Immediately. ResidentRealtyAcademy.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
And that's, maybe someone will put that on the screen, ResidentRealtyAcademy.com.
Yep.
All the video trainings are on there, available to them 24/7.
Yep.
And that content we're continuing to keep building, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
All the time.
updating as times change and,
Right.
and as situations change, we update our videos.
Cool. Contracts.
Contracts are
there's a-
changing yearly almost. It just seems
Right.
like they're always updating them.
And that one just got updated on the 18th, actually, for all the new contracts.
For those that might be brand new in the business and go, I don't know how to write a contract, don't worry. That's the least that you have to
Right,
worry about.
exactly.
Especially when you're with my company, our company. We've got a video on there that basically goes step by step by step by step on how to properly fill out a contract.
Right.
And then they're going to send it either to the mentor or their managing broker for review. So that way, when they submit that offer to the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, rather, it's a first generation clean copy that's looks like somebody that's a seasoned veteran actually wrote it, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's the reason why we do. A lot of people go, oh, it's all video training. It's all video. It's not all video training, but those videos are always there, available to you whenever you need it. Because
Right.
it always is this. You're out on a Saturday or a Sunday showing homes, right? Because when do most people look at homes?
Yep, right on the weekend.
Saturday and Sunday, because what do they do during the week?
Work.
Yeah, they got JOBs, right?
Yeah, a real one.
That's right. So they're looking at homes on a Saturday, and it always happens this way. Or a Sunday afternoon, they call you at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock on a Sunday night and go, "Hey, I want to write an offer on that place we saw today." And as a brand new agent, they're going, "Oh my gosh, what do I do?" They have no clue. That's why we do those videos there, so they can at least start it. I've had conversations. People will call me at like 10 o'clock at night. I'm sorry to call you so late. Well, then why did you? You can't be that sorry, Well, I thought I was going to get your voicemail, and I'm really sorry, but I got to write this offer. How do I do it? Go to the video,
Yeah.
complete it, send it over to me for review, and then we'll make whatever changes, And it's
One of the things too we like to do with the team members is after we like to try to give them the opportunity to try to write that contract on their own. Watching the video, write the contract, and then we'll go through it with them line by line. Not for two reasons. One, we'll correct any issues that might be they might have been confused about, but also we want them to be able to understand exactly what that contract is. Because what are they going to have to do after this? They're going to have to explain it to their
I was
client.
just going to say, yeah, right.
And we want our team members to look to their client as if they are a seasoned veteran. That's
Awesome.
the whole point. We want that. We want to be so far in the background
Right.
that when they go to their client, they go to that first closing, their client feels like they've closed 50 houses that year.
Because sometimes the client doesn't know that.
Exactly.
Right. So just because they might be a brand new agent doesn't mean that they're a rookie, they're brand new, but it doesn't mean that they're winging it on their own. They've got support on the back end.
They've got a great team behind them.
Right. And that's what hopefully seamless. So people don't realize, we've all gone into a retail store or a restaurant where, you're ordering dinner and there's another person right next to them. So it's obvious that they're brand new and they're in training, right?
Right.
Well, that's one thing if you're going to Applebee's. By the way, we're sending Applebee's the bill for that too, for that plug.
Ka-ching.
Put it on the
the
logo back
screen.
there. Yeah, we'll charge them by the impression. But no, if you're going in and you're ordering dinner at wherever you might be, if you had a bad experience, it's not going to be the worst thing in your life. If you have a bad experience with a real estate agent, it could very well be a turning point in someone's life because it's the most expensive asset they've ever had.
Right.
They need to make sure that, and that's, again, one of the other reasons for the team is to make sure that our agents are out there learning the business, but more so protecting our clients, protecting their most expensive asset that they're probably ever going to have in their entire life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll wrap it up here, but real quick, I don't know what the answer is going to be, but be honest, because if it's negative, then I'm just going to have these guys edit it out anyway. Why Resident Realty? You guys have your choice of going, and you were both with other companies, right? Yeah. You came to Resident Realty, and I know why you came to Resident Realty. You came to Resident Realty because it's a split, right?
Right.
There isn't a split. It's $50 a month. It's $300 a transaction. This is my shameless plug for my company, right? $50 a month, $300 a transaction. We know why people come here. It's because of the low cost to the agent.
Right.
It gives them the freedom to do whatever they want to do as far as setting their commissions and all that good stuff and putting more money in their pocket, which hopefully they will turn back into marketing and advertising for their clients. That's the goal. But why do you stay? What is it about Resident Realty that's, other than the fact that you now are the mentors on Team Resident Realty, and they can't see on the camera, but I've got you chained to that chair. But no, why do you stay? What is it about the company that says, I don't want to go out and branch out on my own and do this thing? Because you guys could easily go out and open up your own company.
I think for me, I've always been a big fan of under promise and over deliver. The promise is $300 a transaction, $50 a month.
Have we ever changed that on you?
No, we've never changed it. But that was kind of the promise at the beginning, and no other promises are made. And then when you come with a company, you've got so many other features to the company, but we also have a great management team that Craig's been good, you've been good,
Yeah,
we
you
have
better
Roger
say me in there.
Cotier. Yep. And so it's just been my kind of company. It's more laid back. It's everyone's very performance driven. And it's just like a group of professionals. There's not the managing broker yourself. You're not standing over everybody going, hey, what's the deal? We need to get these contracts. I want to get these contracts done. I want to see
Right.
more production out of you. It's you do the best you can, but then there's also the tools that just seem to start flooding in. And so the under promise over deliver was a huge plus for me.
One last thing. What about you? And then I'll ask you one last thing. I keep saying one last thing, but you, same thing, you know.
So why do I
Why do
stay?
you stay?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's really the freedom, right? The freedom of Resident Realty, right? They're not on top of you as far as how you want to run your business, right? They have a plan. It can be you can follow any type of plan that you wish, but really it's about the freedom of being able to set my own price, being able to worry about what kind of rebates I want to give. How I want to market my stuff, and I'm accountable really to myself, right? And then it's the expertise and the support. So here I have the expertise of hundreds of years of experience right behind me, and people that want to give that expertise to me. You know, they easily give that and assist me with that. And then the expertise, right? I mean, we've got somebody that teaches real estate.
Who's that?
Right, for the college, right? And these are what I feel like the safety and knowing that we're doing legally everything we can to protect our people,
Right.
and protect ourselves,
Right.
And Resident Realty. That's why I stay, is because I feel that from the company.
You know, I was going to say too, you know, when I got my license, my plan was the 2 years and be on my own.
Right.
And that's always been kind of my MO, is just, I work for myself. I've always worked for myself. And even as working in the engineering field, I always worked as a contractor because I didn't want anybody hovering over me. When I hit that 2 year point and I was with Resident Realty, I'm looking at the cost involved. And I'm going, okay, for $300
Yeah.
a transaction, I turn in all my paperwork, and now it's your problem. If there's an audit, I don't have to worry about it. It's not my problem.
right.
We get the tools that we get with the $50 a month far outweigh the $50 a month. You can't replace those tools for $50 a month.
No, not even close.
And you can't replace the headache of being audited or having to deal with that situation for $300 a transaction.
And all this with freedom.
Yeah. And so for the cost, I was like, financially, it makes sense to stay with the company. And I think that's the whole design of the company from the beginning, was to bring the professionals together, and then as a group, we can bring prices down. We can bring
Yeah.
our responsibility, our cost responsibility down.
Buying in
our
bulk,
overhead. Right, exactly.
Everyone loves Costco because they can go there and buy, 8 gallons of mustard for 14 cents or something.
Yeah.
They may not even eat mustard, but it's a great deal because they save that volume, or they save the money in the volume,
You can
right?
get you can get the hair, body wash, and carpet shampoo in a
I don't
5-gallon
need-
bucket for
I don't need that clearly.
$2.39.
It's kind of funny. The guy said earlier, they said, well, do you want to be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side? And I said, well, I don't know. What's my best side? And Austin's like, neither, really. I mean, I said, well, do I have to be in front of the camera? He said, it might be best if you're off camera. We'll put you back behind the camera. So, last thing, and I promise this will be the last thing because I know you guys have to get on with your day. Talk about the CRM.
Okay.
What is it? How do you incorporate that into people's businesses? And I think that's the number one. I'll just say it right now. I would probably be retired had I been active with some type of a CRM, and I was never taught that. When I first got into business, it was always, I gotta get on to the next deal.
Right.
I just closed this one. I gotta find another one. I gotta get on to the next one. Tell me about the CRM.
So
what even is
a
that?
CRM is a client's relations management software. So when I got started, I was, I loved Excel. I've always loved Excel. So everything I did was Excel. I kept all my clients in a list, name, phone number, email address, information about what they're looking for, and then I color-coded everything, active clients, stale clients, long-term clients, closed clients, etc. We got the exact CRM about 2 years ago, I think, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, so this software is probably one of the best CRM software.
How much does it cost?
It's
Zero.
free. It's free to you. Yeah.
To you,
To
the
you.
agents, it is. Yes.
The agents, yeah, you guys pay for it. It's out of the $50 a month, and it's one of those softwares. Like I was saying, you can't replace these softwares for $50 a month. But it has so many features to it. You put in your client. You can put in reminders. You can tell us when their wedding anniversary is, when they close their house. You can have the thing remind you to give them a phone call once a year. You can put in there what their current address is. If you're going to have a listing, it will project what your yearly income will be, because it'll say, okay, here's what you have for clients. Here's what you've put into the CRM, and it'll punch out and it'll say you are projected to make X amount of dollars this year, which is just awesome. As you close properties, it keeps track of that. It tells you what your average closing is, what your there's so much to it.
Right.
It's just, it'll keep track of, it'll do all your marketing mailing for you.
Yes.
Your monthly mailing. For an extra $20 a month, that does what's called Social Stream. And Social Stream, what does it use? It uses Facebook, LinkedIn.
Is it Instagram?
No, I don't think it does Instagram.
Yeah.
It's Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Yes.
Okay.
So it'll do your posts for you. It'll do them up to 7 days a week if you want it to. You set it up however you want, and it takes care of all your marketing. I get phone calls all the time. People are going, "Oh, I love your posts on Facebook," and I'm going, "Man, I haven't been on Facebook in like 2 months.
Yeah,
I don't have
it's
a clue
just
what you're
automated
talking
for
about."
you.
It's all
Right.
automated.
And this is something that you're, of course, teaching your students how to use.
It's one of the first things.
Yeah, it's one of our number one get
Yeah.
started.
Right.
Is getting
This is
started
what
with
you do,
your
and-
with your CRM.
It's the foundation of your business. If
Right.
you can set it up correctly from the foundation, you will benefit greatly from
Oh
its
my
use.
good! I mean, and that's the thing, is that it's a tool that doesn't cost you any money. Why aren't you using it? I
Right.
mean, I can see the numbers from on the back end of our stuff going, why aren't all of our agents using the CRM? I mean,
And maybe
and
they
I'm
don't know
guilty
the
of it.
features. Maybe they don't know how
Well,
powerful it is. But
I'm guilty of it too. But I've been doing this 20 years, right? So I think that's why what we want to do with the people that are joining your team, to teach them how to do it from the very beginning. Like you said, it's the foundation.
It
And
is.
just like a house, what's the very first thing that goes onto a house?
put a foundation in.
You got to put the foundation in before you start putting up walls. And that's not the way that I grew through my business. I mean, I've had a lot of success in selling, but my number one, and I know it, my number one downfall is keeping in contact with my past clients. I can I tell a story? I'll tell a story. So here's my story. I was in California, and I had a client of mine that I was selling his house, and we had an open house. One of our agents was doing an open house. Friday afternoon, we get a full price offer on the house, so we of course accept it. But we had already scheduled the open house. I said, let's go ahead and still do the open house, and look at all the homes that are available in and around that same subdivision, and let people know these are available. They're very similar. I'd be happy to show it to you, right? So I started looking, and I saw a house that I recognized, and I went to Public Records, and it happened to be a buddy of mine. His name is Bob Jones. Many of you in this area might have heard of Bob Jones. So
It's a pretty unique name.
yeah, right?
Sure we
So
can
I
find him.
called my buddy Bob, and I said, "Hey, Bob, it's Tony." He says, "Hey, how are you? I haven't heard from you forever." And I said, "I'm doing great." Told him the story about the open house. I said, "I see that you have a house that's available that you just put on the market, or it's been on the market for a little bit, but it's active. Would it be okay if you just gave me the lockbox code so I can pass it on? That way we don't have to set showings, and I'll take everybody in the open house over to your house." And he goes, "Oh, that'd be awesome, but we just got a contract on ours too. It just hasn't been changed in the multiple listing service." I said, "Okay, cool." He said, "Hey, when you get back in town, let's get together." So I said, "Cool." We get together. We met at a local watering hole. It's a restaurant. They happen to serve beer, and beer is delicious. And the very first thing, he walks in, hadn't seen him for a couple of years. He sits down. He says, "Before you say anything," he said, "I have to apologize." And I said, "For what?" And he goes, "When we decided to sell our house, we didn't even think about you." He said, I just called another guy that I knew of, and he sold the house. And he said, "I'm so sorry that I never thought to call you." And it was like, okay, you shouldn't be the one apologizing to me.
Right.
I should be the one apologizing to you.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example. I tell this story all the time. You know, I didn't do my job keeping in contact with my clients, my friends.
And as
Shame
an
on me.
industry, we're horrible at it.
Horrible.
The industry's worst at it. They say that something like 70% of people will use a new agent every time they buy and sell.
Right.
That's great if you're a new agent. You've got all these possible prospects.
Right.
But as existing agents, we very much got into the habit of close the deal and forget the client.
Right.
And that's one thing that we work really hard on at the team member to teach you how to maintain that relationship. Yeah. And those reminders are pivotal.
And I think that if they did that and they followed that and they spent the time and the energy in conducting their business correctly through some type of a CRM, keeping in contact with their clients that way, you know, a couple of years down the road, they're not spending money marketing and advertising anymore.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's
that
all
money.
referral.
I mean, right now, this is 20 years deep into the business. The last 2 or 3 years, every single home that I've sold, every single one of them has been repeater referral. Yep. It's no new clients because I'm not spending those marketing dollars. And there was a time that I was spending online, God, $2,000, $2,500 a month to drive business. You know, and again, we're chasing the business, but what we forgot about was the very people that brought us there. And I'm the worst at it. I am that guy. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm trying to tell the people is learn from my mistakes. Here's what mistake that I made. Learn from it, and by utilizing that CRM, and I know you do it all the time. You're constantly in there hammering on these brand new agents. Get this in there. Get this in there. Get this in there. It becomes automated. And it sends you reminders to reach out and say, hey, it's Julie's birthday. Reach out to her.
Well, you have a daily task list that comes from that CRM, and it tells you here are the people you should be contacting. Here's the things you should be doing.
Right.
Every
so
day.
you need to be involved in your business.
Yes.
So you wake up in the morning and you have hopefully your plan. If not, because there's too many agents that get up in the morning and they start cleaning their house and then they kick on ESPN or the morning shows or whatever, and then that bleeds into Judge Judy in the afternoon, who also is awesome. But nothing better than an afternoon with Judge Judy and an icy cold beer. There's probably a lot of things that are better than that, but I've got my little thing. Love you, Judge Judy. Can we bill her too for that?
She can afford it.
What is this guy? But no, I mean, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we lack in this business is being able to keep in touch with our clients. That CRM, and I know we just spent, 10, 15 minutes on the thing, but that's huge. There's a segment that you guys do for your training on a video that goes through the importance of it and how to build it and blah, blah. Yeah, we've got all that.
And not to mention the website that it gives you for free.
Right. Well, it's not free, but
the website is.
It's free to you.
It's free to us.
Well,
it's free to the agents.
I'm talking about the agents.
Throughout the CRM too, there's little videos. So if you get even hung up on a little section, you can there's just a little play button. You hit a play, it pops up a little video. It'll give you instructions on how to fill out that section. But we've been using this software for a couple of years now, and it seems like I've tried to go through this software from top to bottom, and I'm still finding little gadgets
nuances
here and there.
And stuff.
Oh my goodness, it is awesome.
Very powerful.
It is absolutely incredible.
So let's wrap this thing up because I know you guys got to go. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you thought might be important? Anything you'd like to say in closing? Yeah.
Well,
I could use a pay raise.
Let me get on that.
Just send me a couple clients ready to go.
See if I can work on that right now.
The CRM has an app too. I just want to point that out before we go. The CRM has an app.
Yeah, it does.
Exact Contact has an app.
Oh,
you
really?
pull it up on your phone. So yeah, if you're out driving around and you're
learn something new every day.
Yeah, if you're, I found it just a couple months ago. It was awesome because I was driving around. I wanted to drop off a gift for a client that had closed a house a couple years prior, and it was on their anniversary of the closing. And I was like, I forgot to look up that address. And I start looking through. I wonder if they have an app. And I just went to the app store. I found the app, logged in, and there was all my information. I was like, man, that is snazzy.
Wow. I did not notice that.
But yeah.
Learn something new. Robert, anything?
I guess.
I know you want the pay raise too.
Yes,
I know.
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, just a little extra.
If I had Robert's money, I'd burn mine.
Cool. So we'll continue on the video series and stuff like that. They're going to join Resident Realty. They're going to come in. see all of your training videos. Hopefully, show up to your meetings. Kind of important.
Well, they're
to
going
do
to
that.
meet with us,
Right.
and then we'll go over a plan. You know, everybody's going to have kind of the same, but in an individual size plan, type
Perfect.
plan.
Awesome.
And then
Thanks,
we
guys.
walk you through.
Thanks for coming. Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.